All right, let's go and take a look at lesson 2.4. 2.4 is all about factorial form and solving polynomial equations in factored form. So a question that we would get in this lesson is something that looks like this. So like 2x times x minus 5 equals 0. All you gotta do is set each part equal to 0. So 2x equals 0 and x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, so divide both sides by 2 and we get x equals 0. Add 5 to both sides and we get x equals 5. Okay, and that's your answer. So again, just set every part equal to 0. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next question. Something that looks like x minus 4 times x minus 6, right, equals 0. So again, just set x minus 4 equal to 0, and then set x minus 6 equal to 0, and solve for x. So add 4, and so x equals 4, add 6, so x equals 6. That's your answer. Okay, so every part that has the variable that you're trying to solve for, just set it equal to 0, and you'll be able to solve your answer. So 3t times t plus 2 equal to 0. You'll put 3t equal to 0, and you put t plus 2 equal to 0. Okay, so divide both sides by 3, and you get t equals 0. Subtract 2 from both sides, and you get t equals -2. Okay, that says t equals -2. Okay, so pretty easy. If your question looks something like this, x minus 3 squared equal to 0. Notice that that is saying x minus 3 times x minus 3 equal to 0. So it's setting x minus 3 equal to 0 and x minus 3 equal to 0. You will add 3 to both sides. We get x equals 3. Add 3. You get x equals 3. Okay, so this concept's pretty easy. Right. Whether you have 2 things or 3 things, it's all the same. Okay, so let's take a look at something else. Okay, so if the question said factor something like this that says 2x to the third, and I'll make this in standard form already. So 2x to the 6th plus 4x to the third. Okay, what you would want to do to factor this is say, what's the highest number that 2 and 4 have in common? The highest number that 2 and 4 have in common is 2, right? Because 2 can go into 2 and 2 can go into 4. Okay, now the part that we need to look at a little bit more so that we understand it is how many x's do these have in common? And really, it's just the highest number that they both have in common. So the highest number that 6 and 3 have in common is 3. Okay, not multiples of 3, just the highest number that they both have. Because x to the 6th is the same thing as x times x times x times x times x. I'm going to run out of space, but there's 6 x's there, whereas x to the third is just x times x times x, so there's 3. So they both have 3 in common, which makes this x to the third, right? Because x to the 1 times x to the 1 times x to the 1 is x to the third. Okay, so the highest number that they both have in common is 3, right? So we can pull that out of both of them. Okay, and so if we pulled this out of that, what's 6 minus 3? 3, right? So 2x to the third times 2x to the third, we would be able to add the exponents based on our rule, right? And that gives us 6. Okay, if we pulled out 2 from 4, what's 4 divided by 2? That's 2. Okay, and if we divided x to the third by x to the third, what is that? That's just 1, and we don't necessarily have to write anything there then, right? Because then if we think about it in reverse, if we FOILed this, 2x to the third times x to the third is 2 and x to the 6th, because we're able to add our exponents. And then 2 times 2 is 4, and it has x to the third on it. And that's exactly what we started with. Okay, so let's take a look at that again. Let's say this time that we have 6x to the 5th plus 24x to the 3rd. Okay, so out of 6 and 24, what's the highest number that they both have in common? That's a multiple of both. So 6 has multiple of 1 because 1 times 6 is 6, that multiple of 2 and 3 and 6, right? All these numbers can be multiplied to make 6, whereas 24 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. So the highest number that's multiples of both 6 and 24, right? All these numbers can be used to multiply to make 24, and all these numbers can be used to multiply to make 6. The highest number that they both have in common is 6. Okay, because 6 times 1 is 6, and 6 times 4 is 24, so that's the highest number that they both have in common. So that means that we can take that out of both of them. Okay, so 6, and then out of x to the 5th and x to the 3rd, the highest number that they both have in common is 3, right? So x to the 5th is the same thing as x times x times x times x times x, right? 5x's. And x to the 3rd is x times x times x. So how many x's do they have in common? These 3, right? So x times x times x, 1, 2, 3, 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So the highest number that they both have in common is the highest number that either of them have, right? So x to the 3rd, we can take out of both of them. Okay, if we take 6 divided by 6 is 1. X to the 5th divided by x to the 3rd is x squared, right? We could subtract exponents, so we get 2, so x squared. 24 divided by 6 is 4. And x to the 3rd divided by x to the 3rd is 1. And we don't necessarily have to write 1. Okay. So if you multiply this out, 6 times 1 is 6. X to the 3rd times x squared is x to the, we can add the 3 and the 2 and we get 5. Then 6x to the 3rd times 4. 6 times 4 is 24. We have to add the x to the 3rd at the end along with it. And that's originally what we had, right? So this works. Right. Taking a look at one more question like this. Let's say that we had 7y to the 5th. Nah, 7y to the 7. Let's write 7. Okay. Minus 28y to the 4th. Okay. So what's the highest common number that can be divided by 7 and 28, right? So 7 is the same thing as 1 and 7, right? Those are the only numbers that can be multiplied to make 7. 28 is 1, 2, 4, 7, 14, and 28. Okay, so the highest number that they both have is 7. Okay, you should be able to look at these numbers and just tell right off the bat what is the highest number they both have in common. I'm just doing it this way to show you. You don't necessarily have to do that. If you can just see, like, okay, 7 can be divided by 7 and 28 can be divided by 7. Okay, so we can take out a 7 out of both of them. Okay, out of 7 and 4, the highest number that goes into both is 4, right? So we can take out y to the 4th from both these also. So if we did that, 7 divided by 7 is 1. Y to the 7 divided by y to the 4th, that means we can subtract our exponents, so we get y to the 3rd. Negative 28 divided by 7 is minus 4. Y to the 4 divided by y to the 4 is 1, so that goes away. That is our answer.